Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Ukrainian officials say Russia massively shelled energy facilities in central and western part of the country. President Zelensky repeats a plea to partners for defensive missiles. Australians rally for stricter laws against gender-based violence after recent attacks on women. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese calls it a national crisis. Heatwave sweeps India and Bangladesh, floods ravage Kenya and Tanzania, and tornadoes rip through US states of Nebraska and Iowa as world struggles to cope with climate change-induced extreme weather patterns. And India beats reigning Olympic champion South Korea to win a 5th gold at the Archery World Cup, adds a silver and a bronze to its kitty. Russia launched a barrage of missiles against Ukraine overnight, targeting the country's energy infrastructure. The airstrikes, carried out with long-range missiles, including cruise missiles, was the 4th large-scale aerial assault targeting the power system since March 22. Ukraine's Air Force said that Russia had launched 34 missiles against Ukraine overnight, of which 21 had been shot down by Ukrainian air defenses. Ukraine's state-run oil and gas firm Naftogaz said Russia had attacked its facilities, but that no one was hurt and supplies to Ukrainian consumers and clients alike were unaffected. Ukraine has lost 80% of its thermal power generation and 35% of its hydroelectric capacity during Russian attacks. Now, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has denounced the Russian attack on his country's energy infrastructure. In his nightly video address, Zelensky emphasized that the assault specifically targeted gas facilities that are crucial for supplying the European Union. He highlighted the significance of these gas facilities for maintaining the uninterrupted supply of gas to the EU.
We saw another massive missile strike today, 34 Russian rockets of various types. The main target was the energy sector, various facilities in the industry, both electricity and gas transit facilities in particular, those gas facilities that are crucial to ensuring safe delivery to the European Union. We managed to shoot down some of the missiles today, and I'm grateful to each of our soldiers who were really accurate and responded in time.
Zelensky reiterated his plea for defensive weapons systems, particularly the Patriot missile system, to bolster his country's defense capabilities.
It's important that all the new agreements with partners that are already in place to strengthen our air defense, every initiative by friends of Ukraine to help, in particular with the search and provision of Patriots, to make sure it all takes effect as soon as possible. Ukraine needs 7 systems, and this is the minimum.
A ceremony was held in northern Ukraine on Friday to remember those who died in the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear accident. The Chernobyl explosion is considered the worst nuclear accident in history in terms of the scale of contamination and number of victims. The detonation in the reactor zones caused radioactive contamination that directly contaminated a radius of tens of kilometers, and wind and water movement carried nuclear contamination further afield. On the occasion, the chairperson of the Environmental Policy Committee of Ukraine's Supreme Council praised those who put out the fire at the Chernobyl plant, saying that the move saved the world from a radiation disaster. On the 38th anniversary of the nuclear disaster, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky warned of the risks surrounding the Zaporizhzhia nuclear facility, which has been at the center of nuclear safety crisis since Russia attacked Ukraine. Right, shifting focus to West Asia now, aid shipments to Gaza from Cyprus resumed late on Friday. The ship was carrying food after a pause following the killings of 7 aid workers by Israel. The World Central Kitchen Organization had paused aid to review its activity in the territory after the early April attack, halting direct shipments into Gaza from Cyprus. The U.S. has started construction of a floating jetty on Gaza's Mediterranean coast that will enable aid deliveries pre-screened in Cyprus with Israeli oversight. Once that aid reaches Gaza, it will still need to pass through Israeli checkpoints on land. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will next be visiting Saudi Arabia on Monday and Tuesday. Blinken will be meeting with regional partners and discuss efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of Israeli hostages. Blinken will make efforts to get humanitarian assistance delivered to Gaza. He will also emphasize the importance of preventing the conflict from spreading and discuss ongoing efforts to achieve lasting peace and security in the region. Now, Blinken is not scheduled to visit Israel on this trip. During his two-day visit, Blinken will participate in a ministerial meeting of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Blinken will also attend the World Economic Forum's special meeting on global collaboration, growth and energy for development. The UN Security Council on Saturday expressed deep concern over the crisis in Sudan. Now, the Security Council expressed its concern over an imminent offensive by the Rapid Support Forces and their allied militias against the city of Al-Fashir. The UN Security Council called on the Sudanese armed forces and Rapid Support Forces to end the buildup of military forces and to take steps to de-escalate the situation. War erupted in Sudan 1 year ago between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary called RSF, creating the world's largest displacement crisis. Al-Fashir is the last major city in the western Darfur region not under control of the RSF. The RSF and its allies swept through 4 other Darfur state capitals last year and were blamed for a campaign of ethnically driven killings against non-Arab groups and other abuses in western Darfur. Haiti's Transition Council will vote for the country's next president on Tuesday as part of efforts to bring the Caribbean country under control amid rampant gang violence. The Transition Council took part in a ceremony on Thursday, formalizing the resignation of former Prime Minister Ariel Henry. The transitional government's mandate runs until February 2026, by when there are slated to be elections and cannot be renewed. The Council's installation is seen as a key step towards the deployment of a multinational security mission Henry had requested in 2022 and the United Nations approved more than 6 months ago. Moving on, thousands rallied for a second day across Australian cities on Sunday, urging tougher laws on gendered violence, with the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese declaring it a national crisis at a rally in Canberra. The rallies were spurred by a wave of violence against women. In Melbourne, thousands took to the streets and Federation Square on Sunday, chanting and holding signs and placards. Gender-based violence is an ongoing issue in Australia, a nation of 26 million people. In 2021, tens of thousands rallied over allegations of sexual abuse and misconduct in some of the nation's highest political offices. In other news, the U.S. President Joe Biden delivered an election year roast on Saturday night at the annual White House Correspondents Association dinner. The White House Correspondents Association was founded in 1914 and has held a dinner nearly every year since 1921 to celebrate the reporters who cover the presidency and raise money for scholarships. This year, the event was hosted by Saturday Night Live cast member Colin Jost. Biden used the annual black tie event to chide his Republican rival Donald Trump for immaturity, poke fun at his own advanced age, and take on the Washington, D.C. press corps.
Of course, the 2024 election is in full swing. And yes, age is an issue. I'm a grown man running against a 6-year-old. Speaking of history, did you hear what Donald just said about the major Civil War battle? Quote, Gettysburg, wow. Trump's speech was so embarrassing, the statue of Robert E. Lee surrendered again. Move past the horse race numbers and the gotcha moments and the distractions, the sideshows that have come to dominate and sensationalize our politics, and focus on what's actually at stake.
And staying in the Americas, in Chile, 3 police officers have been killed in an ambush, prompting President Gabriel Boric to declare 3 days of national mourning. The officers were patrolling when an armed group opened fire and set the van alight. The ambush took place in a conflict zone that has suffered from incendiary attacks against farmers, Mapuche residents and officers in recent years. Dignitaries from Arab nations gathered in Riyadh on Saturday to discuss the situation in Gaza ahead of a World Economic Forum summit in the Saudi Arabian city starting Saturday. Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud met with a number of representatives. The leaders gathered ahead of the summit to talk about the recent developments in Gaza, with thoughts focused on working towards a ceasefire. SpaceX tied its rocket reuse record on Saturday. It was the 20th launch for this Falcon 9's first stage. This according to NASA's Kennedy Space Center in the state of Florida. The launch is aimed to help connect people all around the world with high-speed, low-latency internet, send a lunar lander to the moon and more. In total, this Falcon delivered more than 228 metric tons to Earth orbit and beyond. The launch has been added to the Galileo constellation, Europe's equivalent of the United States' Global Positioning System or GPS. 28 Galileo satellites have been launched to date. The Galileo satellites reside in medium Earth orbit, 14,430 miles above Earth. Still to come on DD India NewsHour. Heatwave sweeps Bangladesh. 12 people die of suspected heat stroke in the country. Heavy rains claim at least 76 lives in Kenya, displaces thousands of people. And water pollution increasingly becomes a widespread problem in England.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Let me now get you weather updates from around the world. Heavy rains across Kenya have killed at least 76 people and displaced thousands. Residents of the region were still coming to terms after a truck loaded of people was swept away by raging floodwaters of Kwa Musti River. So far, 11 survivors were pulled out from the river while 7 bodies have been recovered downstream. Search for more bodies continues. Calling the situation grim, the country's weather authorities warned of more heavy rains for the coming week and issued flood alerts. So relentless rainfall accompanied by severe storms and above average rainfall characterize Kenya's rainy season, which spans the months of March, April and May. Could it be another example of climate-induced extreme weather pattern? Let's find out from Isaac Lukando, who joins us from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Isaac, how is Tanzania coping with the situation?
Well, this is the second day that Dar es Salaam and Tanzanians have breathed a sigh of relief. There has been rainfall in the last 2 days. It's sunny, as you can see, and that is helping the government to sort of regroup. There have been meetings amongst government officials at different levels to try ascertain the level of damage that has been sustained by the country following the floods. The government said earlier on that it had set aside some $53 million to rebuild some of the infrastructure that has been damaged because of the floods, but he said that it was still doing an assessment to see just how much damage has been sustained. Right now, the effort is obviously going to be going towards helping the 200,000 people that have been affected by the rains, 10,000 homes destroyed, and so most of the aid will be going towards helping these people get back on their feet.
Also, Isaac, what's the situation, the latest on the flood situation in neighboring Kenya?
Well, we've heard from government sources, the government spokesperson there saying that the number of dead, those who have died because of the flooding there has increased. It's now reached 83 from 70, a number of 13 people dying in the last 24 hours. And this obviously has put a damper on rescue efforts. There was a lot going on in different parts of the country. Some places that are not passable, and so the government is calling on Kenyans to be vigilant, to be careful, to get out of low-lying areas, to get to safety in order to reduce the loss of lives. It has already issued around $29 million in terms of aid to help those that have been affected by the rains, but unfortunately there is still more rain that is forecast. This weekend there was some rain that was forecast. There'll be about a couple of days between Monday and Tuesday that could see a bit of a breather before the government issues another weather alert in the coming days. There's more rain expected, and so the number of dead people that we've seen and the number of displaced, which now reaches 130,000 people displaced in Kenya, could very well rise.
Isaac, thank you. Isaac Lukando there reporting from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Millions in the US are under a storm watch as the states of Nebraska and Iowa reel from devastating tornadoes. A large tornado tore through parts of the country. Authorities have put a tornado alert for the coming days. Local officials confirmed that 4 were injured amid the havoc and immediately admitted to hospital. In China, at least 5 people were killed and 33 others injured in a strong tornado that hit Guangzhou, the capital city of southern China's Guangdong province, on Saturday. More than 140 factory buildings were damaged. Guangzhou, a city of 19 million people in southern China, has been witnessing tornadoes at level 3 intensity. The tornado was followed by multiple days of heavy rains lashing southern China, deadly floods and threatening to upend the lives of millions of people as rescuers rushed to evacuate residents trapped by rising waters. Now, water pollution is becoming an increasingly widespread problem in England. New data shows sewage spills into rivers and seas more than doubled last year. Campaigners say that water companies are failing to invest in infrastructure to prevent this, but the industry says the soaring costs of upgrades cannot be shouldered by businesses alone. Julia Chapman visited one river in London where sewage is of a particular concern.
Britain's tranquil waterways belie a dirty secret. With increasing regularity, mostly in bad weather, sewage is spilled into rivers and seas.
So this is working as it was designed. It's not a malfunction. It's meant to overflow when it can't cope with the amount of rain. It's just that we've sort of sealed so much London with concrete and building on it, and we've not made enough areas to offset that and allow the rain to soak in. So it's negligence, I suppose. The government, the regulators should have had their eye on this, should have known that it's becoming more of a problem and started those efforts to address that much sooner.
Most of Britain's sewage system was built during the Victorian era. It can be overwhelmed by large volumes of rainwater. Water companies are allowed to discharge sewage into waterways during periods of heavy rainfall. But 2023 saw a record number of sewage overflows. This river alone was on the receiving end of 87 sewage spills last year. Those incidents only started to be monitored in 2019. The government says the way storm overflows are managed is unacceptable. It has set targets that require sewage discharges to be reduced, with fines for water companies that don't comply.
All I can say is that our ambitious storm overflow reduction plan is backed by £60 billion of capital investment. We now monitor every single storm overflow across England and have legislated to introduce unlimited penalties on water companies that breach their obligations. The independent regulator and the Environment Agency have the powers they need to hold water companies wherever they are to account.
A so-called super sewer was completed this year in London to help deal with capacity. But critics say it's an expensive, imperfect solution and will only buy time rather than solve the problem. They argue the best approach is to create more green spaces to absorb rainwater before it mixes with sewage.
We could have flourishing kind of oases of nature. Instead, we've got rivers that are just an extension of the sewage system.
The UK's water industry body has announced a major investment programme to upgrade the sewage system. But it will come at a high cost, one that will likely be borne by consumers. Julia Chapman in London, reporting for DD India.
In some more weather updates, the Bangladesh Meteorological Department has said that respite from the prevailing heat wave is not likely. In fact, it has turned very severe in some parts of the country. The department predicted that the ongoing severe to very severe and mild to moderate heat wave sweeping over various parts of Bangladesh is likely to continue. So far, at least 12 people have died of suspected heat stroke in the last few days. Guidelines were also issued on Friday with respect to extreme heat conditions. Meanwhile, the Bangladesh government has announced the reopening of primary schools starting this Sunday. Bangladesh's highest temperature recorded was 42.7 degrees Celsius in Chuadanga in western Bangladesh near the border with India on Friday. And joining me from Dhaka is Nawal Singh Parmar. First off, how is Bangladesh coping with the heat wave? Is it unusually high for this time of year?
Actually, heat wave started in Bangladesh on 1st of April, and today it's 28th April. So it is longest heat wave spell in Bangladesh in last 76 years. And maximum temperature, as you mentioned, that recorded in Chodanga is 42.7 degrees Celsius. And today morning, Met Department of Bangladesh extended heat wave warning for three more days from Sunday morning. So, in addition to that, Met Department's prediction is that in May, maximum temperature of this season will be recorded in Bangladesh, and it may go around 44 degrees Celsius. Since last couple of days, the moisture in concern, humidity is rising in some part of Bangladesh, particularly in Dhaka division. So it is adding to discomfort level of people, humidity. So that is there. And western and northern Bangladesh, particularly the Rangpur, Rajshahi, Khulna division, experiencing a severe heat wave, and some district of Rajshahi and Khulna division are experiencing the very severe heat wave condition. At the same time, Chittagong and the Sylhet division, there are warning for the moderate heat wave condition, and the prediction is that there may be a rainfall and gusty wind in the next couple of days in Sylhet and Chittagong division.
Now, what kind of measures have been put in place or preparations made to minimize the loss of lives?
Actually, there were holidays in Bangladesh due to Eid and the Pehla Baishakh, that is the New Year of Bangladesh. And from 15th, school and educational institutes supposed to be reopened. Then there were extended holidays due to the Eid and New Year. Government ordered to suspend the education in the academic activity in the school and for the one week. But this morning, Sunday is first day of week here in Bangladesh. Sunday morning school started with the reduced school hour. Parents are worried about the condition of their child due to heat wave, but it is almost a month for the school that were closed. So they have no option, but they are taking precaution. They are reduced the school timing hours, and the shifts are managed in such a way that the least exposure to heat for the students and the other people. At the same time, the government issued guidelines for the transportation and the other department and health department. Some of the division in Bangladesh, particularly Khulna, experiencing the heavy influx of patient in the hospitals, and they are not able to pop up the patient flow. So people are taking treatment on the corridors and the staircase, and like that situation is there. So this is unusual situation for Bangladesh, and it is it may continue in the next month, May also.
All right, we leave it at that. Naval Singh Parmar in Dhaka. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right, now take a look at what else is making news around the world. As spring breathes life into the nature, golden snub-nosed monkey families are venturing out with their 30 fluffy newborns at Zhuji Natural Reserve in northwestern China's Shanxi province. Spring offers abundant food and is ideal for the healthy growth of new babies. Consequently, the golden snub-nosed monkey families migrate to lower altitude areas to forage. A rare violin bag and a gold pocket watch recovered from Titanic goes on auction in England. The gold pocket watch, which belonged to an American financier, John Jacob Astor, who was one of the world's richest men at the time, gets sold for £9,000. Hollywood actors arrive at the red carpet of American Film Institute's 49th Lifetime Achievement Award. The Institute paid a special honor to Australian actor Nicole Kidman. Kidman is one of the youngest ever recipients to achieve the AFI award. The actress began her journey with her performances in thriller Dead Calm and the miniseries Bangkok Hilton before breaking into Hollywood. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. The India Meteorological Department reiterates its warnings as more states reel under a heat wave. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses rallies at Belagavi and Sirsi in the southern state of Karnataka. And Arvinder Singh Lovely resigns as Delhi Congress President deals another blow to the party. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. Russian missiles strike power plants in central and western Ukraine, hit 4 thermal power facilities. Ukraine's president says gas transit to EU targeted. Australians rally for stricter laws against gender-based violence after recent attacks on women. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese calls it a national crisis. And heatwave sweeps India and Bangladesh, floods ravage Kenya and Tanzania, and tornadoes rip through US states of Nebraska and Iowa as world struggles to cope with climate change-induced extreme weather patterns. In its latest weather update, the India Meteorological Department has reiterated its warnings about the heat wave, which will be holding several states in its grip. The IMD has issued a red alert for Odisha and West Bengal, an orange alert for Bihar and Jharkhand, and a yellow alert for eastern Uttar Pradesh and northern parts of Kerala. The heat wave conditions are likely to get more severe, with the possibility of further rise in maximum day temperatures in Bengal and Odisha because of the prevailing hot and humid conditions. The residents of Delhi NCR got a little respite from the scorching heat after Friday's spell of rainfall brought down the maximum temperature, but the IMD has further predicted that the maximum temperature will cross the 40 degrees Celsius mark again by Monday. Additionally, intermittent rain accompanied by thunderstorms and hail lashed several parts of Himachal Pradesh, while the tribal areas received fresh snowfall on Saturday, causing a sharp dip in mercury. Right, let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. The third phase of India's elections on the 7th of May will witness 95 seats going to the polls. Now, this figure includes the Betul constituency in Madhya Pradesh, where the voting process initially planned for 26th of April was adjourned because of the death of the BSP candidate. The third phase will witness 12 states and union territories participating in the democratic process. A total of 1,351 candidates will be in the fray. Now, this figure excludes the sole BJP candidate in Surat, who has already been elected unopposed. So, campaigning for the third phase of elections is gaining momentum as the poll fever goes high up in India. Political parties are gearing up to woo voters. Prime Minister Modi addressed a public rally at Belagavi in the southern state of Karnataka on Sunday.
आपने कांग्रेस के शहजादे का एक ताजा बयान जरूर सुना होगा। ये शहजादे का कहना है कि भारत के राजा, भारत के महाराजा ये अत्याचारी थे, ये गरीबों की जमीन छीन लेते थे, जब मर्जी पड़े तब उनका सब हड़प कर लेते थे। कांग्रेस के शाहजादे ने छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज, कित्तूर की रानी चिन्नम्मा जैसे महान व्यक्तित्व का अपमान किया है।
Prime Minister Modi also addressed another public meeting at Sirsi in Karnataka.
देश को बांटने का कांग्रेस का प्रयास खतरनाक है साथियों, इनसे बचने की जरूरत है। भाइयों बहनों, आपने देखा होगा, अब ये शाहजादे कह रहे हैं वो चुनाव के बाद अगर सत्ता में आए पूरे देश का एक्सरे करेंगे। एक्सरे, आपका एक्सरे होगा, आपके लॉकर का एक्सरे होगा, आपके घर का एक्सरे होगा, आपके खेत का एक्सरे होगा, और वो ढूंढ के निकालेंगे किसके पास क्या है। और फिर अगर ज्यादा है तो हड़प कर लेंगे और उनकी जो वोट बैंक है उनको बांट देंगे.
BJP leader and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a press conference in the western state of Gujarat on Sunday.
गरीबी समाप्त करने की बात चाहे पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी रहे हों, चाहे श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी रहे हों, चाहे राजीव गांधी जी रहे हों, चाहे मनमोहन सिंह जी रहे हों, सबने कही. लेकिन गरीबी को इस भारत से वह दूर नहीं कर पाए 50 वर्ष से अधिक समय तक शासन करने के बावजूद. लेकिन सारा विश्व सच्चाई को जानता है कि पिछले 8-9 वर्षों में ही 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी रेखा से बाहर करने में स्वतंत्र भारत के इतिहास में पहली बार किसी सरकार ने कामयाबी हासिल की है. तो हमारी सरकार ने कामयाबी हासिल की.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath addressed a public meeting in Bareilly on Sunday. BJP President JP Nadda addressed a public meeting at Burdwan in West Bengal. He will address a public meeting at Berhampur of Ganjam district and later hold a meeting with party workers at Nabarangpur. Senior BJP leader and Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a public meeting in Mainpuri in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Minister Shah said that he is hopeful that BJP will get 80 out of 80 seats in the state.
2 चरण में मोदी जी सेंचुरी लगाकर आगे निकल गए हैं और ये 2 साहबजादों का अभी तक तो खाता भी नहीं खुला है. दीवार पर लिखा हुआ परिणाम लिख कर रखे. उत्तर प्रदेश की 80 की 80 सीटें इस बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी जीतने जा रही है.
Meanwhile, leaders of opposition parties are also holding rallies to garner support in favor of their candidates. India's opposition leader Rahul Gandhi visited Odisha to campaign for the party's candidates and addressed a rally. The Chief Minister of Haryana, Nayab Singh Saini, is likely to address a public meeting at Panchkula in the Ambala Lok Sabha constituency on Sunday. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann will address a public meeting in Punjab's Barnala on Sunday. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and YSRCP President YS Jagan Mohan Reddy will start his election campaign on Sunday. Right, joining me from Maharashtra is my colleague Shyama Mishra. Shyama, talk to us a bit, if you will, about the seats that will go to the polls in the third phase in Maharashtra, some of the key contests to watch out for.
We understand that this is the third phase and Maharashtra's third phase too. So 11 seats would be going for polls this time. We understand that these 11 seats are the prestigious ones that include Kolhapur, Hatnangle, Baramati, Solapur, Sangli, Latur, and all these places would be going for polls. In this, we understand that Baramati is one of those key seats which is closely being monitored, which is closely looked at. It's a very interesting seat because we understand that NCP's, the Sharad Pawar party, Supriya Sule, she has been winning this particular seat, and this time around also the MVA, which is the Sharad Pawar, the Uddhav Thackeray and the Congress joint alliance, they have fielded Supriya Sule again, and in opposition to Supriya Sule would be Ajit Pawar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra's wife, Sunetra Pawar. She would be contesting from the Mahayuti, which is the Shiv Sena, the real Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde, the NCP of Ajit Pawar, and the BJP. So this alliance would be, they have fielded Sunetra Pawar. This particular fight is really going to be an interesting one. People are saying, the locals are saying, this is going to be a cut-to-cut one. Apart from that, we understand that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would also be holding key rallies in one of the areas, which is Satara. So Satara is also seeing a neck-to-neck competition where the 13th descendant of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Udayanaraje Bhosle, he is being fielded from Mahayuti. And opposite him is Shrikant Shinde. He would be there from the MVA alliance. So we understand this is also going to be an interesting one. Apart from that, I've already mentioned that there are 11 seats which is going to polls, and we understand that, you know, the last two polls that have the last two phases that Maharashtra has seen, it has been close to 60% of voter turnout, and this time around we are expecting that this voter turnout would be a little more than that, because that's not impressive, and we are hoping that this number would increase gradually. Back to you.
Right. As you said, Shyama, Prime Minister Modi would be among the BJP's star campaigners to hold rallies in the state. What more can you tell us about the PM's engagement in the state, as also that of the other leaders of political parties?
Right. You have mentioned that Prime Minister is the star campaigner. He has already addressed one rally yesterday in Kolhapur of Maharashtra, which is also going to polls in the third phase. Tomorrow, he'll be addressing 3 rallies, Solapur, Pune, which is Baramati, and also Satara. So Satara, I've already mentioned about the candidate. He would be there for campaigning for Udayanaraje Bhosle. Apart from that, the day after tomorrow, he'll be again addressing 3 rallies, which is Latur and Latur and the other seats. So we understand that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is really going to have a busy schedule, and he's currently touring Karnataka, which is obviously nearby, and as I've mentioned that Prime Minister was here in Kolhapur yesterday. So Maharashtra is one particular place where Prime Minister is paying special attention, and all those people, all those candidates who have been fielded from the Mahayuti, they have really been, you know, they have been really garnering all the attention, because Prime Minister himself, he's coming for campaigning for them. Right. Apart from that, Mahavikas Aghadi is also campaigning on full war foot. We understand that on 30th, Uddhav Thackeray, he would be addressing a public rally, and apart from that, Sharad Pawar of the NCP, he's also addressing several rallies. We are understanding that also this phase, and apart from that, we'll be seeing several other phases, which is the 4th and the 5th. Campaigning is on currently for those as well, even in Mumbai and even in other places.
Right.
Back to you.
Right, we'll leave it at that. Shyama Mishra, thank you, appreciate it. Now, BJP leader Smriti Irani will file her nomination as the party's candidate from Amethi on Monday. Before filing her nomination, Smriti Irani reached Ayodhya on Sunday to seek the blessings of Lord Ram. Meanwhile, the Congress party is yet to announce its candidate from Amethi. There is a strong speculation that Rahul Gandhi will again contest from Amethi. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that the demand for a caste census in Muslims have come from them. He reiterated his administration's pledge to conduct a caste census specifically within the Muslim population. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya, in an exclusive interview, spoke to the Assam Chief Minister on the sidelines of a political rally at Kodamtala in Kokrajhar. Take a listen.
Is Assam CM Himanta Biswa Sir, you spoke about the fact that there must be some sort of a caste census among the Muslims. What is that?
There is a great demand among the Muslim community in Assam for a caste census among the Muslims, because there are various division of labors among the Muslims. There are some lohar, there are some sonar, there are some fishermen, there are some agriculturists. They say that because we do not have a caste census, we are deprived from various facilities. So Assam government is considering very, very sincerely to do a caste census among the Muslim communities of Assam.
Last question, sir. Out of 14 seats, how many seats you are expecting?
12, 13.
12 to 13 is the seats that the Assam CM is saying that they want to win in Assam, and also he spoke about the fact that the caste census among the Muslims will start very soon. With Kyle Person, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Kokrajhar, Assam.
In another major jolt to the Congress party, former Delhi Minister Arvinder Singh Lovely resigned as the Delhi Congress president, citing interference by the party's general secretary in charge and alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi as major friction points. In his resignation letter to Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge, Lovely said that he feels handicapped and not able to continue as a president of the Delhi Congress unit. This was the second resignation by a former minister to hit the Congress in the capital in less than 1 week. Rajkumar Chauhan had resigned on Wednesday, and according to party insiders, his resignation would pave the way for more. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyonyi set a road mile world record in World Athletic Championship. In tennis, Iga Swiatek and Coco Gauff advanced to the round of 16 in the Madrid Open. And in the Indian Premier League, champions Chennai Super Kings will take on Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. To sports now, double delight for India at the Archery World Cup as it won gold medal in recurve men's team event, also bagging bronze medal in the recurve mixed team event. The men's recurve team of Tarun, Dheeraj and Praveen did it in style, beating powerhouse South Korea 5-1 in the final. Meanwhile, the Indian pair of Dheeraj Bommadevara and Ankita Bhakat won bronze medal in the recurve mixed team event. Deepika Kumari bagged the silver on her return to the Archery World Cup after losing the final to South Korea's Lim Si-hyun. India entered the Archery World Cup Stage 1 in Shanghai with a total of 8 medals, creating history for the highest number of gold medals and the highest medal tally at a single World Cup stage. Right, joining me for more on this story is my colleague Narayan Singh. Narayan, Indian men's recurve team ends a 14-year drought by winning the gold at the Archery World Cup. India wins 4 other golds as well. What did you make of Team India's performance?
Since yesterday, and the way our archers perform at the World Cup Stage 1 in Shanghai is incredible. Now they are just dominating the world leaders of this sports. If you take a look at the Asian Games, where India won 9 medals including 5 gold medals in that event, and in Asian Games India topped the archery event with 5 gold medals, and the South Korea, the country which is dominating the game since 1982, was at the 2nd place. So here also once again they repeated that performance and won 5 gold medals as a historic achievement here. And if we talk about Jyoti Surekha Venom, she won 3 gold medals in this tournament also. In the past also, especially in the Asian Games also, she won 3 gold medals. And right now we have a great bench strength of the archers, especially in the compound event, and the way they are performing, definitely we can say that kudos to them, and the way they are performing and the way they are just challenging the world order, the champions of the sports. It's a big thing for India also.
So Narayan, does it mean that India's gold medal haul improves its chances of securing a berth at the Paris Olympics?
Definitely, Ramesh, if we take a look, whenever the athletes perform at such level, it improves the chances of the country to be there in the epitome of the sports, that is Olympics, and the way they are performing. But we can say that the way the compound archery still it is not the part of the Olympics, and in recurve archery we have done good. The way Deepika performed exceptionally well, and our men's team also won medal in the this recurve archery, and so it's a good prospect for the Olympics. If they perform here, definitely it's a morale booster for them, because when any team they perform at such a level, it's we can say that it boosts their confidence. If we take a look why our athletes are performing, if we take a look whole the domestic structure, the way the domestic tournaments has been organized, and the way the national ranking system, the Khelo India, and apart from that there is if we talk about the infrastructure in the archery, it has been improved immense in the past few years. Foreign coaches are there, foreign experts are there, strength and conditioning experts are there, video analysts are there, physiotherapists are there, nutritionists are there, we can say the full team is there to take care of them, and that's why we are seeing such results. And the way you said that all the performance in such event, definitely a morale booster for our athletes, and it will also compel them to perform at the Olympics also.
Right, we leave it at that, Narayan. Thank you, appreciate it. Right, on to cricket now. In the Indian Premier League, defending champions Chennai Super Kings will take on Sunrisers Hyderabad. CSK had a good start to the season under new skipper Rituraj, but they have been toppled by Lucknow Super Giants twice in the last two games. Meanwhile, Hyderabad have twice broken the record of highest IPL total this season, but are coming into the game following a failure of their ultra batting approach against RCB. In tennis, Rafael Nadal reached the third round at the Madrid Open with an impressive straight-set win over Australian Alex de Minaur. The Spaniard won 7-6, 6-3 to take revenge on the opponent who knocked him out of the Barcelona Open 10 days ago. Five-time champion Nadal is playing on the Madrid clay for the final time in what he expects to be the last season of his career. He will face Pedro Cachin next after the Argentine beat American 20th seed Frances Tiafoe.
There's still a lot of things I need to adjust to change my perspectives on the situation. First, I need to be convinced that I am responding physically. Ultimately, of course, I have to recover my confidence in my body. Very important for me to be able to compete the whole match with a good level of tennis, and the body held on well for a little over 2 hours. That's important for me. It was a great test, and now let's see how I wake up tomorrow.
And in athletics, Kenya's Emmanuel Wanyoni set a road mile world record at an event in Germany. He finished with a time of 3 minutes and 54.5 seconds. The race was Wanyoni's competitive debut in the men's mile category. The 19-year-old broke the previous record of 3 minutes and 56.13 seconds set by Hobbs Kessler of the United States in October. Wanyoni specializes in the 800 meters. He won a silver at last year's World Athletics Championships in Budapest before winning the gold at the 2023 Diamond League. And before we close, a zoo in northern France welcomed 2 Sumatran tiger cubs, a big plus for their conservation of the endangered species. Native to the island of Sumatra, their numbers have plummeted because of habitat loss and deforestation caused by logging and agricultural practices. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Up. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download it now. Well, let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.